So it seems Australia is going through it at the moment with people getting very, very stabby. Now, the thing you've got to do here, when something like this happens, is wait a minute and make sure that you don't come out and say immediately that it is an Islamic attack because, well, sometimes there are nutters out there that aren't attached to Islam. But it seems that the second stabbing, which we'll get into in a second, was. But let's go to the first one. Apparently, he was a surfing dude, and apparently he'd had a long history of mental health problems because you see in an interview with his dad said that when he was okay, he was a really lovely guy, but then he was very mentally ill and he was his servant until obviously he went over the top. Now, they were saying he had a psychotic or he was in psychosis or whatever it is, and he wouldn't have really known where he was, what he was doing, or right or wrong. Now, I've never suffered mental health problems like that, although I've had my own share of mental health problems, and there was a time in my life that I was close to the edge, not to do anything to anybody else, but to myself. I wanted to end it all because I was so utterly terrible. Now, I realized that the feelings then were pretty overwhelming, and it took everything I had to get me back from the brink, if you want. And the main predominant reason for that was I had a daughter and I couldn't do it to her. And also, I had a friend in Australia who was my dad's age, and his son had taken his life, and I know what it had done to them, so I couldn't do it. But that's just talking about mental health a little bit. But this guy, he singled out women, and obviously there was a child as well, and they all got killed. But I have no idea what was going through his head, what had led him to that stage, but obviously he was mental. Now, a lot of people say that when Islam goes and does what it does, it's down to mental health. It could be. But let's take into account a few overriding factors with regarding to Islam. Maybe we should go on to, chapter 9? One of them says here, when the sacred month has passed, kill the polytheists wherever you find them. And it goes on. And there's many different reasons there why they believe within that you should kill people who are non-believers. Now, I would suggest that also if you are a simpleton of low IQ, or maybe even if you've got IQ but you're easily led and you've had the Quran rammed down your throat forever. Now, not forgetting there were people in the past that have committed terrorist acts that lived pretty much a debaucherous lifestyle, women, drugs, drink, easy living, whatever you want to call it, which is completely against the Quran, and you're not going to make it into the chosen land, given the fact that apparently there's only so many seats to get in there. So you've got to do something pretty extreme for Allah to prove your worth, and then you might get the chance of getting a seat. So as it was in, say, for instance, the alleged planes hitting the 9/11 Trade Center, it was said that these people had lived a really, really dodgy lifestyle, but they knew they were going to be redeemed by doing this act. Now, what we've just seen is the footage of a guy going up to a 1 minute. Let's get the name of it here because I've only just got it. Bishop Myri Emmanuel in the Assyrian church in Australia, and he's been attacked. And I saw the attack, and I'm not going to put it on here because it is as graphic as you like. This guy looks like a bit of a gangster, I've got to be honest, the way he's dressed, but apparently he's a really sound guy, and he calls out all dodginess from all sides. He's busy giving it a read, and this monster comes up, and he's just attacks him, wades into him with no care about his own safety at all, right? Because he knows he's going to get attacked. But these people are so utterly focused. This is what makes them dangerous. This is also makes the fact that we've had a war in Afghanistan, the Americans have, the Russians have, and nobody beat them. Why? Because they want to die. You cannot beat somebody who's wanting to die for their cause and thinks it's a good thing because you don't want to die. So they've got the upper hand on you already. But this one, I can safely say it is a religiously based attack because I can hear him saying something about some snack bar somewhere. Now, we do have a problem with Islam because Islam is got a list of rules in it. Now, some of them, they'll read you the peaceful rules. But then you'll also see that the superseding rule after that is actually to go full violence because reasons. Now, don't forget, old Allah, or not Allah, what's the other muck? Anyway, one of them, the one that the prophet, he was coming out with all this different stuff, and he had a scribe because he couldn't read and write himself. And the scribe was writing out all these different verses. And then, what's his name? The prophet, Muhammad, that was it, Muhammad, got one of these sentences grammatically wrong. And the scribe said to him, excuse me, do you not mean this? Because that doesn't actually make any sense. And he went, yes, I do. And that must make you a prophet too. So the scribe went away and went, well, I ain't a fucking prophet. And I'm reckoning that guy is full of shit. And so he left and trotted off across the desert and joined Christianity. Probably the best movie ever made. But nevertheless, in that move there, and I think that therein lies the problem, old Mohammed realized that people were going to see through him and leave. And that's why he came about with the price of leaving is death. Because nobody wants people to see through you. Bit like Jim Jones, actually, if you look at that one. Jim Jones sold religion to the weak and the feeble, and they all went along with it and sold all their shit and got involved. And at the very end of it, they started to see through it. And that's when he took the action that he did. We won't go into too much details. And this is controversial enough as it is. But there you go. I mean, people have to be honest about these things. When you look at so many of the death lines in so many different religions, like, I don't know, Islam, Judaism and stuff like that, you have to ask yourself, really? And I mean, why can't you go through a reformation? I think that would help you no end. Really, it would. I mean, you could move into the modern day world. You could take some of the good things from the Quran, because it's not all bad, all right? You could take some of the good things and maybe moderate the killy bit, right? And the stabby bit and the horrible bit. And you might end up as better neighbors. Just a thought. And we have to look at this, given the fact that there's so many of these people within the UK and all around the world, really. When you look at how many Christians are in the world and then how many Muslims are in the world, or how many religious people are in the UK and how many people, say, for instance, from Christianity are extreme. And then you have to go on to how many extremists have been coming from the religion of pieces. So if they could go through some sort of, I don't know, chilling out period, where you go through the rules and go, I reckon that's a bit fucking strong. Maybe we need to look at that one. And that one underneath. Killing for what? Really? That was a small indiscretion. Maybe we should look at that. And stoning for what? Oof. No, that's a bit strong. No, that really is too much. Maybe, if they did that, maybe Islam might work better with the West. Maybe it might work better with itself. Maybe there wouldn't be quite so much trouble, because you've got two different brands of Islam as far as I'm aware, and they like to fall out with each other. And maybe even if Israel or Judaism could do the same thing, maybe, just a thought, there wouldn't be so much trouble that there is at the moment around the world. And maybe if America could stay out of trouble as well and not follow, say, for instance, Israel into all the problems, and then America on its own, take, for instance, the CIA going to poke the bear all over the world because it wants its oil or it wants its mineral resources or there's some gold to nick out the place, maybe our lives would be much, much better. But no, nobody can actually stick to some morality and actually do the right thing. Nobody can actually reform their religions that really should reform their religions. And we're heading for an apocalyptic ending where things will get incredibly bad. And if you think these stabbings are a freak occurrence, they will happen more and more often until it will be fashionable to walk around places like, I don't know, London, Birmingham, or take whatever city you want in Europe or Australia or wherever it is with a full-length stabby vest and one around your neck. Because let's be honest, the vogue thing to do is to attack people in their necks, it would seem, which I think is very unpleasant. And we don't like violence in this channel at all, and we condone no violence. We condemn it wholeheartedly. And I think that there should be many other religions around the globe that do the same thing. Do you know what? I haven't seen a Buddhist monk lately kicking off any more than I've actually seen a Jehovah's Witness out there. I mean, they might knock your door aggressively because they want your attention, but I haven't seen them get as violent as Islam does. So maybe we need to look into this. Anyway, sorry I haven't put much content out lately, but I've been having a bit of a break because, like you, it all gets a bit too much sometimes, doesn't it? But we did do a live stream Saturday night, which is on my Rev on a Rant channel, which you need to go and look at, because I can't live stream on this channel because YouTube see me as a bad egg. Fuck them. And by the way, YouTube, if you're watching, that is made out of, you can buy them on eBay, by the way. That is my 100,000 subscriber award that was made by eBay from somebody else because you didn't give me it. There you go. But anyway, don't forget, I've got the Simon Evans channel, which admittedly I'm not putting much out on, but if I got banned from this, you'd need to find me somewhere else. Rev on a Rant, which predominantly I do my live streaming from. I've got the Man Up channel, which talks about, say, for instance, passing my CBT and other things, from anything from putting a wash machine in to other things that will teach you to man up, grow up, and be more of a bloke, if you're a bloke. Or it does give some advice to women, but, it's a very small amount because I'm a bloke. I talk from my own perspective. But, yeah, so you got the Man Up channel. And not forgetting Dave the Plant. Dave has his, which we occasionally put stuff out, which really just mocks the world and takes the piss out of it. Mind you, it's a plant talking, so what do you expect? So, yeah. And I'm going to take the rest of the day off because I've been studying for my theory test, which I've got to take my bike, and it's my birthday. So thank you very much. Anyway, I'm going to go now and have a can. I think I've deserved it. And I'm wishing the people that are involved in the attacks and the people who are the family of the people that have passed on my serious condolences, because none of you deserve any of this. And you're the innocent victims of mental health problems, religious bigotry, or call it what you want. But I feel sorry for you, and you got my heartfelt sympathies. Anyway, I'm going to leave it at that, and see you later. If you like the content I'm making and you want to support my work, here's a few links in the description, but only if you can afford it. Thanks a lot, and I'll see you on the next one.